you make sure you follow the typical guideline, right? And so that then most likely, hopefully we can go through this kind of difficult period of time. Yeah. So again, do you have any problem about COVID-19? Or you already got virus? Any problem? Did you? I know, yes, last time, some student. This is quite important. Do you have any problem about COVID-19? Any problem? Or your family member got this kind of virus infection? Do you any problem? Any problem? No problem. Okay, so that anyway, so this is something just to remind you about this issue. And so of course, I also add additional reference material for our this lecture note, right? So for example, there's one reference online seminar, a lecture by one Professor Fan Jing, right? So that I do think this is quite a new technology. If you chance, you are welcome to attend this kind of online seminar. So that this is it's not mandatory, but I do think this is relevant to our this kind of course. Do you say? So that I hope that you can especially it's not some special now. I think it's green building technology. Green building is a rock-fill concrete technology developed by one professor in Tsinghua University in Beijing, and they can really reduce the use of concrete for construction by 70%. Definitely is one of quite amazing technology, and then have been used in this kind of Beijing Olympic, this kind of the project. So it's a quite interesting thing. So that I just let you know that if you have time, and then you are welcome to attend this kind of special seminar offered by this Professor Fang Jing. Okay, so that I don't know if this is something I think it's quite interesting for you to think about this thing. Okay, and then of course I also give you some additional this kind of lecture, right, material for our course content, so that especially we are talking about this kind of smart building, internet building. So that as I mentioned, we have with this kind of advance of semiconductor technology. Semiconductor is one of important, it's not only for smartphone, right, and can low cost this kind of IC chip symmetry, and also low cost sensor. So that last time we show you that this kind of thing. So that now, for example, we have a lot more this kind of smart this kind of system for the building, like we mentioned, smart thermostat, right, made by Nestlab, and all this kind of new idea of smart home, smart building can what? Can create some billion-dollar business, right? This is something I'm not the thing where I just show you the real fact. So that this is one example, right? And of course, I also mentioned about this kind of this is another interesting. This kind of thing is smart ring bell, huh? You cannot imagine, right? So that there's all this kind of smart, this kind of building smart home technology can enable some of the good billion-dollar, this kind of billion-dollar business is something Amazon also acquire. Now this kind of another company, doorbell. What do you think? You may be surprised, right? Doorbell things very, very common in every building and home. But once you have smart doorbell, you can create this kind of billion-dollar company value while acquired by Amazon. So that's something. What I would say, tell you, this is all this smart phone, smart home technology can create some can can create some billion-dollar business. I'm not talking about something for fun, but something is quite interesting for all of you to think about this kind of thing. Doing that, and I should try to let you to look at this kind of interesting technology, so that what do you think? So the question is, can you also come with some new idea, of a smart system for building, and then you can now come with a smart idea, so that you can create this kind of smart system, smart building component, and become billionaire. or your idea can be acquired by this kind of big giant company, Google, Amazon. What do you think? Do you have some idea? Or let me show you this kind of idea about smart ring bell. It's quite amazing to see about this kind of thing. Let me just quickly show you this kind of another interesting. Doorbell is so common, but how come? How can we use this kind of new type of sensor, multi-sensor, and wireless communication, so enable this kind of smart doorbell, and then you create billion-dollar value? What do you think? This is something I do think is interesting for you, right, to think about this issue, right? So that we definitely engineer. It's not something, okay. Of course, there are different kind of engineer, right? In Hong Kong, so that if you work for like building service industry, do some maintenance engineering, then well, that value, you cannot create this kind of big value. New technology, new kind of product, and smart system, smart building can create much higher value for the industry, for the big company, so that then you are going to have become the millionaire or billionaire. So this is something I just look at this kind of idea, how Ring.com, their smart ring bell, can create this kind of billion-dollar value and acquire by big giant this kind of technology company.
Welcome to Ring Alarm. We're glad you're one of our neighbors. Ring Alarm puts a ring of security in and around your home using different types of security devices. The base station provides security for your entire home. The contact sensor monitors a door or window in your home. The motion detector watches a room inside your house for motion. The keypad is the physical control panel for Ring Alarm. The range extender expands your network so a distant device can talk to the base station. Together, all these devices make up Ring Alarm. Your Ring Alarm system monitors sensors to put a ring of security in and around your home. Ring Alarm includes 3 security modes to fit your needs. Away monitors all the sensors in and around your home, giving you the most security when you're not there. Home monitors sensors around your home, but ignores the ones inside, giving you freedom to move around your home. Disarmed doesn't monitor any sensors, allowing you to go in and out easily. These 3 modes allow you to keep your home security in sync with you. You can change your security mode from the Ring app or keypad. To change modes using the app, open the dashboard, then tap the new mode. To change modes on the keypad, enter your 4-digit access code, then choose the new mode. As an owner, you can add shared users and assign each of them unique 4-digit access codes. When Ring Alarm is set to away and armed or home and armed, it monitors sensors in your home. If a door opens or a sensor detects motion, the system will alarm. If you're signed up for professional monitoring and out of the 7-day practice mode, you'll get a call asking if everything's okay. If you can't be reached, the monitoring center will call your other emergency contact. If either you or your emergency contact confirm things are wrong or give an incorrect verbal password, the local authorities will be dispatched to you. When they come, they'll make sure you're okay, then walk you through the premises to check the area. If the authorities are dispatched but find nothing wrong, you may be charged a false alarm fee. There are a few things you can do to eliminate false alarms. First, make sure your emergency contacts information is up to date and that they know your verbal password. The verbal password lets the alarm company know that the person they're talking to is authorized to make decisions about your safety. You can change it in the monitoring settings of your Ring app. Second, make sure that you've installed your sensors properly. Finally, review the system with your family and be sure they understand how to use Ring Alarm and its security modes. Welcome to our neighborhood. With Ring, you're always home.
Okay, so here just give you a very simple introduction about this kind of idea, right? Ring bell. Of course, originally they just make the first idea of this Ring.com's product is what? It's simply they put some webcam, with this kind of Ring bell, and then webcam. Of course, it's wireless communication, right? With that means webcam integrate with Ring bell, and then has this I think most like Wi-Fi communication system, so that you can connect this kind of Wi-Fi to your smartphone app, right? So that in this case, saying that, but gradually they try to make a lot more sophisticated this kind of integration with many sensors for smart home application. Do you say? So that what do you think? It's also quite important for you to think about this thing. Why? Can you come with some can you come with a new type of new idea about this kind of smart smart home application? Can you, yeah, one still saying like secure system, but the key thing here is with all this kind of advanced, this kind of Wi-Fi, wireless communication, sensor, local sensor, and also this kind of thing. Can you come with smart home application or even with AI, so that you can really have better this kind of a smart building technology, so that then save energy, increase security, right, and more energy saving, and also, of course, I mentioned for COVID-19. So there's one missing part is can we come with a low cost rapid detection of those kind of biosensor detect this COVID-19 for another branch of smart building, right? Do you see? So this is something that's still a lot of room for all of you to think about. Now, new type of this kind of smart building, smart home, all right? Enhance the security and enhance this energy efficiency and safety, including this kind of this kind of bioaerosol or something, viruses and bacteria. Right? So this is still an important issue, I would say. So what do you think? Do you think this is something for sure? Many of this one is important, but the quick thing is how can we come with some better? The key thing here is how can we come with a new idea so that you enhance the performance, right, or enhance of this kind of building or a home, smart home, right? So this is still important thing, yeah. Okay, so that again, there's additional information I put on our Canva website for you to think about. So that so I don't know, do you have any new idea? Any new idea for this kind of smart home, smart building? What do you think? Or some problem? Definitely still have there's a lot of room, right, for all of you to think about some problem of this current building engineering, right? So saying, so that this is still, I do think this is still quite important thing. One still asks use of AirTag. The one student Ming Ho mentioned use of AirTag. So that I want to know that what are you talking about this? What is the AirTag? Oh.
Yeah, so AirTag is a product made by Apple, so you could locate where it is very precisely. So I think if we talk about smart home, we could use some technology because I remember you use UWB, so we can use it to locate where user is. So and combined with AI, it will be very useful.
Excellent, very good. We do have students have some ideas, so that definitely this kind of AirTag is one possible new technology, wireless communication technology for smart home or things, so that I understand. So this is some check-in device made by this kind of Apple, and most likely I do think this kind of indoor or this kind of wireless communication system are able to be useful for things, right? So that there's a series of this kind of technology for indoor this kind of checking, so that AirTag definitely I can see why Apple also put a lot of money for their the ecosystem, so that they also have special Apple. If you look at the iPhone, there's special like this kind of app, right, to connect these things. So that but of course beyond AirTag, I do think many other big companies like Google, Amazon, they also develop some similar kind of technology for smart home, smart building. Just like I also mentioned, Amazon had their own way, so that the AirTag, I think this Ming Ho make some good suggestion. I do think you mentioned quite an interesting idea, so that yeah, I have no what this is. Of course, there's another important thing, right? For example, now in the COVID-19 problem, if you or your family member got COVID-19, can we come with this kind of a smart system, so that to do some mobile health monitoring about your health condition, or anyway, if you cannot go to hospital, unfortunately now all our medical system in Hong Kong are going to collapse because too many people got the COVID-19. So that can we come with new technology to use to look at the health condition about you, about your family member who got the COVID-19. So that is something I can see is an important issue now. Why? This kind of mobile health or something, can we come see, or if some critical condition, so that I understand some of the COVID-19 patients, suddenly they fell down. Suddenly they have really a big problem, thing then, so that is any way we can detect this kind of human's vital sign. And once have an emergency, this thing not just one show you the Ring.com, right? Just monitor humans' vital sign. What do you think? Actually, this 7 years ago, I had a project with MIT. There's one MIT professor come with an interesting idea. Turn wireless Wi-Fi. Can you use Wi-Fi to detect humans this kind of health condition? What do you think? So something I want to ask you. Wi-Fi, all of you have Wi-Fi, but can you use Wi-Fi, turn Wi-Fi another become new technology? What do you think? What do you think? Can you come with this kind of thing? At least MIT professor, when I had a project review, why my project is simple demand sensor for smart building, for energy saving. So that we do have one professor at MIT, so that they come with this kind of interesting. Dina Katabi come with interesting technology for this kind of Wi-Fi with AI. Wi-Fi with AI or some special algorithm, so that they can use Wi-Fi as a sensor to detect the human's vital sign, like a human breath or something vital sign, heartbeat, heart rate, with wireless communication, Wi-Fi signal. What do you think? It's possible. I just show you that's something quite amazing, so that if you come a new idea, so you can really has you can change the world, and then you can really come with a very unique technology, especially for COVID-19. I think I really surprised to see that the Professor Adina Katapi now have this kind of amazing, this kind of machine learning, integration machine learning AI with a wireless communication, Wi-Fi, and really useful this kind of a human's vital sign. That's something I think this is quite important now for COVID-19, because our hospital, unfortunately, see in the past 2 or 3 weeks, so many people go to hospital, and then so the long queue, and then some people we have no enough the bed, right, in hospital, and then so that that's become very bad. So can we really use new technology to do this kind of way? So I think this is Professor Dina Katapi's idea is kind of amazing. I really surprised, but he really
his behavior.
So I think this kind of technology is useful now. We have a lot of people who got the COVID-19, and then so that suddenly they fell down, suddenly they have breast problems, so that you see, if you have this kind of Wi-Fi, everybody you are using Wi-Fi, right? This kind of thing. So that if you have used this kind of this Professor Dina Katapi, they have this kind of special kind of program, right? Using machine learning to change this kind of Wi-Fi router, right? With additional function to sense this kind of user, Wi-Fi users, this kind of human, this kind of vital sign. I think it's quite amazing to be useful for this kind of another type of a smart home, smart building application, especially COVID-19. We many hospital now is full of patient, so that also you don't want to go to hospital now. Maybe too many people that got already virus in hospital. So do you say so? This is something I think now at this particular moment, this kind of a new type of this kind of technology really useful. Do you say so? It's something I just tell you there is a lot more for all you to think about this kind of new technology, so that one student what was the thing? So you said so that this is something definitely. Of course, in Hong Kong, we have many this kind of elder home. I actually feel very sad, so that many people in Hong Kong die due to COVID-19. There's old people in elders' home, so that we are very sad actually. How many people die? If we install this kind of new Professor Dina Katapi, this kind of Wi-Fi router with machine learning, so to detect all the old people, so to check the elders, our vital signs, I think we can save people's life for sure. We have a lot of people die because this thing, this is something unfortunately you can see now we have so many people die every day. So that if you use this kind of low cost, this technology, Wi-Fi, everybody, you can see every building, we have a Wi-Fi in the home, and then so that this thing, so that this is something I just tell you that it's something quite important for all of you to think about this kind of new technology to save people's life. It's not just something, of course, in this moment, we for typical building, smart buildings at home, we have energy saving and security and thing, but at this moment, smart home, smart building, how to save people's life? No, for this COVID-19, it seems a big issue. Unfortunately, I to tell you this is something, and that's why I want to all of you to understand this kind of Professor Dina Katapi's technology, so that I know that she has a company to really try to turn this one into the product, so that I don't know if that is low cost enough, so that we can really try to use this one to save people's life. Now, especially in Hong Kong, every day we have how many people die? How many people in hospital? How many people in old people in this kind of elderly home that who really had trouble? So this is something personally I do think this kind of smart building, smart home is reached a critical moment. So that this is something I feel I have this important thing to let over you to understand. This is not of course in our lecture note we also mention only some traditional this kind of way. Why? For this kind of smart building, for energy efficiency, and then old-fashioned file safety issues, security, telecommunication. But at this moment, smart building, I would say, to detect the COVID-19, to monitor human health, I would say this is one of most critical demand for this at this moment. Yeah, but still, this is something non-trivial. Of course, as I told you, I do have a government project to work on this kind of new type of this biosensor chip technology, plasmonic PCR, integrate with this kind of semiconductor biosensor, so that we can do the kind of rapid detection of the DNA RNA within 5 minutes. So that of course I push my PhD student and postdoc work very hard. So at least I was gradually we have demonstrated about 25 minutes we can do this kind of rapid PCR on our small this kind of module. So that definitely I can see this is something. If you try to go to this kind of government, this kind of community center for COVID-19, this kind of PCR testing, how long do you have to wait? I want to ask you quickly. How long do you have to wait? To get the result of this COVID-19 PCR testing result? How long? In so that of course new technology. So that at least I got the government funding. 5 minutes. Hopefully 5 minutes. Still we push technology 5 to 1 minute. So that something is important. Another 15-20 minutes. I don't think it's a PCR testing. I think that is rapid testing for those antibody testing and the screening. I think Hoi Wang and also Chun Ying. I do think is for those PCR testing. I don't believe it's 15 minutes. Are you sure? Hoi Wakun and also Chun Ying. Are you sure? I don't believe. Cell testing kit is not PCR testing. I don't believe. You should understand about typical technology. Rapid testing is not a PCR testing. Typical PCR, and it takes 7 hours. And so that if you wait for 1 day to get result, if you go to the community, this kind of testing, like center, I don't believe 30 minutes. Yes, I'm talking about is this kind of PCR testing. Typically, still you have to take about 1 day. If you submit your sample, right, and then typical 1 day, they will send you the SMS message. It's amount, but I'm not. I have 2 PhD student and 1 postdoc. We push this kind of a new plasmonic PCR technology, so that 5 minutes, 1 minute, we want to get this kind of PCR testing. Okay, so that's something I still push my student very hard. Yeah, PC that take days now. It's not 1 day. But anyway, my PhD student and postdoc work very hard. So that so at least we use 20 minutes. We can get this result about 20 minutes. Yeah, in my lab. It's still we are work very hard. We got the government funding to really do this kind of thing. Yeah. And my research from the government is plasmonic PCR chip technology. integrate with this kind of a CMOS biosensor using semiconductor TSMC biosensor for no, so we can total this kind of time is it should be less than 5 minutes. This is the project I got from the government funding. Yeah, so that this is something, of course, using the TSMC 0.18 micron, this kind of CMOS foundry process. So that, of course, this is something require at least PG level of research to do research inside, so that it's still non-trivial to do things, so that this is not PG level of the research, right? So that I have two PG student plus postdoctor, one postdoc to work on this the project. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that let's go back to our lecture. So that I just show you that at this moment we have see a lot more this kind of smart building, and then so that all this is important and useful, right? So that I show you at this moment we are see a lot this kind of a smart building component, and many of this one will enable as I would say very simple. We will see in the future, so that what happened, all this kind of thing, we probably have some sensor AI and put together, so that enable this kind of intelligent smart building. Doing that, so that something low cost sensor and wireless communication and AI will enable this kind of new family of this kind of smart building. So that that would be the future, right? Another future. Some of this it's a show, right? I show you a series of product, right? It's already have this kind of enable this kind of a smart building, smart home application. Okay, and of course, there's another issue is of course for office building. So that in Hong Kong we have many office building for this kind of company, also some building for maybe for shops, right? Shopping mall. So that in this case, there's another important thing, how we can have additional this kind of smart building function for this kind of management of this kind of building, right? Building management system, so that then responsive. For example, how can we demand control ventilation, right? Energy saving. So if you have a lot more sensor, so that then we can, if the office of have no one inside, and then can we come with smart lighting, smart HVAC, automatic turn on, turn off the light, automatic to adjust this kind of air conditioning system. So this is something I do think it's quite important, and gradually I would say all this will be gradually more and more become practical, and then you can buy this kind of smart building component, smart home, this kind of gadget, right? Just may show you a series of this kind of technology available. Yeah. So okay, so that again, so that I just tell you that we are in this kind of transition. All these kind of smart building, smart home become much more practical and low cost, that enable all of you can use this kind of technology. Yeah. And anyway, so I'll just show you. I already give you all the example. I see smart doorbell enable Ring.com, right? And then smart loudspeaker, Amazon, right? Amazon, this is a loudspeaker, or in China we have Xiaomi 音箱, right? And then I think we have a series of this kind of smart loudspeaker, and connect with internet, with Wi-Fi, connect with AI, so that they can really have a lot more this kind of way. And of course, we have this kind of CCTV. CCTV also will, or some company also have AI, right? Those camera similarly sensor integrates AI, so it enable this kind of much more intelligent, this kind of smart camera, right? For this kind of security, right? And smart home application. And of course, I also mentioned this kind. You although you don't have this kind of CCTV, but all of you have what? All of you now have what? Webcam, so that you can play some kind of this kind of webcam as with this kind of open source this kind of cloud computing platform, MIT, like Scratch.com, right? So that to use this kind of webcam, and I think it's quite interesting. So that I already show you that Scratch, right? Scratch, this MIT online cloud computing platform, can really come with a series of interesting this kind of idea. So this kind of thing to say, so that it's something is amazing to see that we have this kind of new way to play with this kind of webcam. That's it. So it's at this moment, Scratch was widely used in the university, not in university, in the those kind of class in the primary school student, including my kid. It's year 5. So that you, let me show you that, you are able, can you learn from this little kid how to do some coding on this kind of MIT Media Labs? Is an open source cloud this kind of coding platform.
You can use your webcam to interact with your Scratch projects, pet a virtual animal, pop balloons, or anything else you can imagine. To start, let's add the video sensing extension. So as you can see, it turns on our webcam and gives us a new set of blocks to play with. Let's start by making a simple project where we pet the cat. I'll grab the when video motion is greater than 10 block. So the way
you
this
can do this
works
one now
is
at home.
it's measuring the amount of motion that happens underneath the sprite, and it's measured on a scale of 0 to 100. So 0 is no movement, and 100 is as much movement as we can do. Let's go ahead and stick with the default value of 10. So next, I'll grab a play sound until done block and attach it. So let's give it a shot. Maybe we'll try a higher value, like 95, just to see what happens. Okay, so nothing's happening. We really have to do a lot of motion. So maybe we go back to 10. Cool, I can't wait to see what you do with video sensing.
Okay, so here I show you that this kind of webcam, right, for your computer, laptop computer, or even this kind of desktop computer with this Scratch, so that you are able to make a very interesting video game. Or I can see this kind of thing can be also used with this kind of smart home, smart building, so that at this moment, majority of this kind of Scratch was done by the student, not in the university level, is in the primary school student, including my kid, who are able to create very interesting this kind of webcam with also AI. So do you think? So AI is not only for university, it's for this kind of 5 years old to 10 years old kid. So that I do think maybe you can come with some new idea to play with this kind of Scratch with AI machine learning. What do you think? This is not for university. This Scratch most likely used in the primary school student. But I do think they have opportunity for our, like you. You are definitely much older than 5 to 10 years old. Can you use this kind of Scratch with this video webcam with their machine learning to come with smart home, smart building application? Do you say? I just tell you this kind of thing is majority of this user Scratch most likely is a primary school student that want to make fun, but you can really see a lot of this kind of new application for smart home, smart building with webcam. That means they can read that, they can capture, right, with this kind of webcam, video sensing, and with this kind of this programming, simple programming to detect a human, right? You can do some counting number of people with webcam, right? Because webcam is so cheap now, right? So that definitely this is something, and also you can do some body. No, this is also interesting. One Japanese engineer tried to add additional extension of this kind of Scratch. So have AI. So AI integrates Scratch so that with webcam, with those kind of simple library extension, so that actually this kind of Scratch with webcam and AI now can be used for a lot of interesting application. So that again, at this moment, majority of these work is done by this kind of student in the primary school, not university. But I do think you can think about this kind of thing. Let me show you one interesting this thing, right? AI with webcam with Scratch, so that people make a very fun this kind of thing. But it's I mean, you can make this simple thing. Basically, there's some webcam, and then they can checking, right? They can using some machine learning checking about human body motion, and then try to move around some of this interesting stuff and make some sound or some. They can basically with AI with those things, so that I told you there's a postnet is some kind of machine learning. Those code now have integrate with things. So there's a series of this kind of things, so that there's a one Japanese this kind of little kid teach you how to use this kind of AI machine learning with this kind of, most likely it's from Japan. They have this kind of special coding online coding course for primary school student. It's not for university student. This is quite amazing. But you can think about this. This little kid teach you how to use this kind of AI with a Scratch made thing. Again, it's not a university. It's not a PhD student. It's a little kid in a primary school. This is something I just tell you. Now this kind of online cloud computing platform with AI share about all this kind of coding, so that enable a lot more interesting these things. So again, it's not, you can see, it's a primary school student. It's not university. But that's why I asked you, can you come with some new way to play the thing, right? So this is something is important for you, right? How to leverage this kind of online coding, so that you can see, then you can easily make this kind of AI with webcam and with something can come with a lot more this interesting project, so that sensing, I mean, easily jack this kind of block, you can set your webcam at home, right? And then use those kind of postnet is a AI machine learning. You click here, then immediately you enable this kind of AI to do some human body checking. This is something I told you is quite amazing, so that all of you can easily, not you, is a student 5 to 12 years old student can easily try to make this kind of simple coding, so that this is something is quite amazing, so that all of you should understand AI and those kind of this kind of video camera is for everybody, including the student in primary school. So that I tell you, this something is quite funny to see that the online cloud computing platform can really enable a family of this kind of student to play around, and it's a lot of fun. I would say a lot of fun for all of you to something. I think. Okay, I don't. Do you any question about this kind of thing? Definitely, this kind of online coding and then AI. No, integrate with this kind of additional AI with online this kind of coding platform enable a lot more interesting application. Do you have any question? Or you can play with this kind of online this kind of coding and learn from that student how to make this interesting project. Okay, so I think we should go back to our lecture so that this is again, so that at this moment again we have a lot more these kind of things again, so that all this smart building will be much more widely used in to turn traditional building into smart building, right? And of course, there's another important issue beside this kind of what I mentioned is a building, this kind of maintenance, building monitoring, right? As I mentioned, building are going to older and older, and so we need to do some monitoring about the health condition of the building. Just like a human, you will get sick, you go to hospital. So can we come with additional this kind of way, smart building, some sensor to detect some leakage, detect some corrosion, earthquake, or the health monitoring. So this is something I can see is quite critical, right? So that especially if you come with some those kind of local sensor to install with this kind of wireless communication, so that can we really try to do the kind of health monitoring of the building structure, right? And also maybe health monitoring of some of critical component inside the building, HVAC, of the lighting, or even this kind of elevator, do you understand? So that still once in a while we see the failure of this kind of elevator and escalator. Even in Hong Kong, in many other places in the world, sometimes I still see with some failure of this one and people die, unfortunately. So that can we try to come with additional smart system to prevent, to enhance the reliability and safety, right? I do think this is something important for all of you to think about. Yeah, and again, so that I think we already mentioned all these things. So I don't know, do you have any question for this thing? Again, I do think it's quite important for all of you to think beyond. Why? Here we just give you very generic this kind of introduction, but every this kind of specific task, right? I think I can see there's opportunity for building engineer to come with additional this kind of new idea, right, to enhance performance, right? This is something it's quite important thing. Yeah, and of course, building energy system is also quite critical, right? So that you know that especially in Hong Kong, we have so many building, and especially for those kind of commercial building, so that it consumes a lot more energy. So can we come with energy management system to save this energy? So that is something critical, right? So for in this case, definitely you need to a series of the way, right, to look at the monitoring about this kind of the critical parameter inside the building, right? If you have temperature sensor, humidity sensor, indoor air quality sensor, right, and then additional light sensor and additional thing, maybe energy sensor, right? Energy is kind of a power, like electricity consumption, right? Energy sensor to monitor this kind of air conditioning system in real time. So in this case, we are able to build this kind of much more intelligent and smart this kind of energy system, right? So that is become very important, especially. So what kind of building system it consumes a lot more energy? What do you think? There's a different type of building, right? For those kind of data center, those kind of the building use data center actually they consume much more energy. For example, now in Hong Kong, we do have a series of data center. For example, Google and several big companies have data center in TKO region, so that the typical energy consumption for tier 4 data center is huge. Okay, so that actually in 2019, I visited one data center. Can you guess how much energy typical data center use? I won't ask you. Actually, I visited one data center. I'm surprised. Tier 4 data center. No, typically they provide those kind of data center for what? For those kind of online, this kind of company, BAT, right? Or Google, they have to put a lot of server in the data center. So then you can use smartphone, can use your computer to connect to those kind of server, right? Use something e-commerce like and Amazon.com and Google, and also those kind of BAT, Tencent have Alibaba's. So all this kind of online system will be what? Will be hosted in those kind of data center. So in the past 7 years, those data center, right, is booming. A lot more data center were built in globally, in Hong Kong, in China, in the United States, many places. So data center is one of rapid those building with data center is one of rapid growing business. So that but the energy consumption is huge. Typically, I would say they consume like 100 million unit of electricity bill. I told you this is amazing. 100 million unit of this electricity. Why? You say this is something for typical data tier 4. It's amazing. It consumes a lot more. Tier 4 data center is quite amazing, but because they have so many, a lot more people try to use this kind of online service. Do you understand? So this is including now we're using this kind of online teaching, so that so all this online teaching relies so many server in the data center globally. So this is one of I think booming business. Yeah. So that especially COVID-19, so that you can see all of you use this kind of online teaching, Zoom.com. Of course, Zoom.com they make a big money. So that COVID-19, so that so many people, 100 million, 200 million people or students, they have to attend this online, this kind of teaching, online lecture. So this is something, I just told you, this is something data center definitely is another quite important. But how can we come with a smart or energy system with AI to reduce energy consumption? Actually, like for example, Google really use AI, right? DeepMind to optimize this kind of energy, this kind of system for the data center. So it's a real this kind of thing. So that the AI, this kind of big data to monitor all this energy system, and then it's one of the critical application will be this kind of building now for data center. That's something is one of critical area to reduce energy consumption and reduce the kind of carbon footprint, carbon emission. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that I just tell you that at this moment, so that COVID-19 actually changed a lot, and this kind of thing online, this kind of teaching online, everything we do is online, right? I also had online meeting, right? Online international conference, everything is go online. Yeah. And okay, so that in this case, there's another important thing is beside this kind of smart building, so that as I mentioned, so that we try to think about how to have more automation for building construction, right? And also green building. So this is something is also quite important thing. Yeah, I just tell you. Okay, so generally, so that I think here typically we have a smart intelligent building, and there's another branch we call the green building. Green building has some overlap between these two kind of idea, right? But green building most likely more focused on how we can have use like a eco-friendly material. Just as one mentioned about that the spatial rock fill concrete technology from one professor in Tsinghua in Beijing, so that how can you use some special kind of green material for building construction, and how to do choose a proper site for the building, right? Water efficiency, transportation, and so this is how can you use green energy. Now this is so if you are able to use, for example, solar panel to get energy, and then not only we consume the electricity from like CLP, right? Electricity power plant, but we can, every building can we generate some energy, right? So that with this kind of solar panel or wind turbine. So I think that, so that means in this case, we can try to create more this kind of green building, right? And hopefully, of course, reduce carbon footprint or zero carbon, this kind of building, right? So this is a ongoing, this kind of way people will continue to move on this thing. So, okay, so I don't know, do you have any questions? So that I think we already finished this special smart building, intelligent building. Again, so one of the key message is I can see this kind of, especially our lecture note only give you very general, this kind of idea, but that's why I give you additional reference, right? The real product in smart, this kind of self-learning thermostat, Google Nest Lab, Ring.com, and Amazon Alexa, do you think? So all this kind of thing is show you that this kind of smart building, smart home is not just in the basic research. It's really come into much more practical and a series of products. So this is something I just let you know that, and of course, another important thing for you, for our engineering student is this opportunity, right? Opportunity for you. If you come with some new idea about this kind of green building, the smart building, or this kind of new idea, then you can create some new, some big value, and then so that there's a big value. I do say engineer will try to create some product, new product, right? New system, so that then you create some value, so that the value then you can make money. You say we are engineer is very different from those the other thing, right? So that how can we come with some kind of a good, this kind of engineering design, and especially for smart home, smart building, I can see will continue to have this kind, a lot more, this kind of new type of this kind of technology be available now, so that so this again, do you have any question for this this kind of smart building or for thing? Of course, smart building at this moment, most likely, can we come with some of sensor, why for COVID-19, for save people's life? That is something, it's still non-trivial, but it's critical. Why I think another thing I will show you about, it's possible you can really have some additional ventilation system, air, this kind of purified system, so I can kill COVID-19 virus. So this is something, that's why I also give this kind of guest lecture for all of you to understand that do have some new type of this kind of ventilation system who can really kill this COVID-19 virus, and then so that to prevent spread of virus inside the building. Especially in Hong Kong, we have a very small, this kind of land area, and population density is top 3 in the world. So that once we have this kind of virus, and then it's very difficult for us to prevent the kind of spread of virus, right? So this is I think one of the big issue, like over you to think about this thing. Again, do you have any question? If not, then I think we may need to go to the next lectures. Next lecture will be this kind of green building. So what's a green building? As I mentioned briefly, so basically green building basically is a building. First, maybe we should try to give you a brief thing that sometimes we have to understand what is green building. Why? So that green building is it is simply a green building. It's one part of something green, right? But the green building is not something at the green outlook. Why? So we have a lot more content for the green building. Okay, and so that in general, so okay, so one student, okay, I will upload our lecture notes so that don't worry. So that anyway, so that the green building is something again. So we just give you some very brief introduction about this kind of idea about green building. And of course, green building actually is important, and the government of Hong Kong actually push green building technology, provide some funding to push the green building. Of course, we'll give you a series of this kind of idea about this green building, including how we pick up this kind of green, select some right side, and then water efficiency, energy efficiency, and how we can use this kind of green material or eco-friendly material. Like what I hope you can attend this kind of online lecture by this kind of professor in Tsinghua University, Beijing online, so that to understand about those kind of interesting rock feeding concrete technology, why can save 70% of concrete, why for building or construction industry. So this is something quite important thing, okay? And then of course, typical green building, which will ask why what is green building? Why typically most likely we try to think if we can use land use, building design, construction, and then we can reduce this kind of environmental this kind of impact, especially reduce this kind of pollution, reduce this carbon emission, why, and also reduce the kind of energy consumption. So this is something quite important thing, right? This all minimize pollution. Why every building will generate wastewater, generate many garbage. So can we come with a lot more building engineering, right? So this is something I would say quite important. And of course, there's another thing. Green building will be if the building can last longer. Why? More reliable the building. Why? The building with much longer lifespan. Why? As I mentioned, like in China, sometimes the lifetime of building is kind of short, 20, 30 years. So that like in Hong Kong, I think typically the lifetime of the building probably is 50 years, right? So that if you have building can last longer, of course, this requires additional what? Building maintenance. So in Hong Kong, I do think every building, by requirement, they have to do additional building maintenance according to the government's regulation. Right? In this case, once you have to do regular maintenance of the building, it can last longer. Right? So that and of course, one more is of course if you can do this kind of green building construction, green material, all these are useful. And of course, when we come with some kind of this green building, so that definitely we need to think about issue. How come with low cost local building design, and also the energy and the efficiency of materials while we use for building, energy efficiency, and so all these are quite important, right? And so of course we also need to think about this kind of design for the whole, not only the building, but building design within this kind of urban planning in a city. No, the kind of scope. You say not only that building. No, we think about building as one key building block for the city planning. Okay, so that well, anyway, so that we have I think in general there's a series of requirement we need to think about in terms of green building engineering. Okay, and then of course in general I would say there's a series of typical basic guideline for this kind of green building design, right? And so that in this case, once you understand the basic thing, then we can come with much better this kind of a green building engineering design, and then that's something quite important. Yeah, and then of course eventually one of I think push from Hong Kong government is the government has a pressure to come with a low cost of green building technology. To one of the important thing is minimize the kind of issue of a global warming, right? Doing that, so that CO2 emission and then carbon emission and how reduce carbon footprint is quite important. So the government has, our Hong Kong government has signed international agreement to reduce CO2 emission, right? I think by 40%. So that that's why Hong Kong government do have some policy for this kind of green building technology. So that this is something is the government had to reduce. Now agree had to reduce kind of CO2 emission by 40%. Reduce now CO2 emission for further because as I told you, one big problem of Hong Kong is what our carbon footprint per capita is almost top 3 in the world because the population density is so high. So this is another big issue. Why? So carbon footprint per capita in Hong Kong is top in the world. So the Hong Kong government has pressure to really reduce this kind of thing. So that's something, if we have too much and then we have to pay the tax. That's why there's some carbon tax now. Doing that, carbon tax, doing that. So this is something is the government has some pressure to push this kind of green building technology. So it's not just something like for fun. That this government do have some initiative to push this thing, and then again, so that we have to think about again how can we do step some for green building. First is the green materials, a green construction. Construction will be much more green, right? Doing that, and then of course during this construction, you see what happened. Construction can also cause a lot of this pollution, right? You see, and it's not healthy, right? And also it may create some health issue for construction worker, right? And cause this kind of pollution in our environment. So this is something, and then of course we need to think about much more important thing, right? So how we can really have a more environmental friendly this design and engineering. Yeah, and then of course eventually this is an important thing, right? So that all the big country, US, China, and then consume a lot more energy, right? And generate a lot more this kind of emission, green, cause some big problem, right? So these all are some critical thing. And construction can also create some big problem, raw material used a lot. And so all these are big issue. And anyway, so that I was almost run out of time. So that again, so I don't know, do you have any question? Okay, so I will try to upload this kind of green building lecture after our lecture notes. So that again, I do hope all of you can follow the general guideline we put on our website, so that you keep healthy and do exercise, and so that you can something. Of course, on the other hand, I welcome you to learn from our little kid, those the student in primary school student now, they can really use the kind of AI online, the Scratch and webcam come with a series of this kind of interesting video game, and so that I do think it can be useful for our future smart home, smart building, so that that for students in the now 5 to 10 years they make video game, but for our building engineering want to think about this kind of AI with webcam for our smart home, smart building. So it's a different thing. I welcome you to learn from our those students now on the YouTube channel.